most valuable commodity I know of is information. Wouldn't you agree?
Alright guys, back again. Little update video in my favorite place next to my aquaponics and bioponics pond. My little garden. Now I call it aquaponics and bioponics. So that's an old term going way back to like, I think the late 90s is the first time I heard of it. I was at a grocery store. They had like a giant fish aquarium. Had like 2 rows of these like hydroponic tubes like that on top, and they were growing plants out of them. They were doing great, even compared to the soil ones next to them, and it was just an aquarium full of fish. I thought that was so interesting, but this is just basically a larger version of that. If you don't know what that is, that's my little water feature. It's an upside down aquarium. The fish love it. They swim up in there. You see a goldfish down there. He can come all the way up to the top. It's completely full of water. It's just upside down. Suck the air out with a shop vac periodically that forms. You can see an air bubble forming in the corner there. About once every 2 weeks I have to come and suck that out and clean the glass with one of those magnet cleaners. But the fish just love it. The plants, they grow here. These are aquatic plants. They're getting real tall. They're cattails from local pond. Just brought one home and they've taken over. I've had to clean them out several times. But as far as this water feature goes, though, the birds and the insects like to come up on top. I got some pumps that pump the water down and around. I've got an air bubbler pump in the garage. As you can see, it's pretty vigorous airflow. Just growing some plants on top. Also, the pump splits and it goes to this as well. And speaking of the pumps, I had a guy ask me, he wanted to see more information about how it works with the solar. So as of now, I have it hooked up. It's plugged in. Normally I have this ran off solar, but I'm using it to charge up my trolling motor battery right now. I just have to reconnect the solar when it's done charging. And so we'll come over here to the solar panels and you get the battery under here, and you got what's called your solar controller. This is just a cheap, I think $20 solar controller. As you can see, it's been through the ringer. It's very durable. This is what I use for power. This is a 300 watt inverter. I just plug in my plug that runs to my pumps and my air bubbler. I got it all under the yard. But anyway, so I've used everything from a 100 watt inverter all the way to a 500 watt. You know, the little 100 watt inverters are the ones that plug into your cigarette lighter, the 12 volt ones. But I prefer this 300 watter. The little fan on it doesn't run unless you put like over 200 watts into it, then it'll start running. But yeah, that's as simple as that. You just need a solar controller, solar panels, and an inverter, and that's the whole system. And once you have that, you just plug in whatever you're trying to run. Now you have to do some math, some figuring and some testing to see what's right for your system. That 300 watt and that inverter and this 100 watt Harbor Freight panel system is enough to run the pump continuously, which is only 12 watts, whether it's sunny or whatever. It never runs out of battery. And the air pump that I'm using is a 30 watt. So I've got a total of 40 watts continuous draw all the time. And yeah, the 100 watt panel and conditions here where I live are perfectly fine to run that. Now in the background you probably noticed the misting system, which is friggin' awesome. I use this, we're in a drought right now, like what they call a flash drought. I have pretty much, my front yard's one of the only green yards around this area, so I'll show you that at the end. But let's go out. The grapes are doing fantastic. I'm prepping this area right here. It's not planted, but these are all tomato plants that are weeds. So tonight, I'm gonna dig all those out. See, this is in a little asparagus patch, but I've got tomatoes growing as weeds everywhere. So, and then tomatoes grow as weeds all through here because I grow my tomatoes right here. So I'm gonna pull all the little tomato plants, move them over to here, transplant into there tonight. But it looks like my these are all lettuce plants, so those are coming up in the little hydro or aquaponic tubes. Those will be my border. Let's step out into the alley. I don't know if you've been out here before, but I do have some misters going. I don't know if you can see them, kind of spraying all through the grapes to water the grapes. And let's come out here. And then come out here. We got a little bit of a mist going on. You can see it's kind of like a rain. This is my like security area. These are all raspberry plants, the prickers, and a rose bush. Still developing this, but it's starting to grow. You come out here. This is my strazzberies. We talked about those. The misters are out running all the way down, acting more as a drip system out here. Just because I have so many emitters that they don't really go far, but it's enough to soak the ground. Let this run for 1 hour. The strazzberries, the lettuce is doing good. The cucumber. Looks like if you didn't know, carrots go to seed after the second year. So I'm letting the carrots go to seed there. And some more lettuce. That's a carrot flower. Kale flowers. And more kale flowers. So yeah, and then the grass is kind of growing. More carrot flowers. Kale grows some kind of weird beans, I guess. Kind of strange, I did not know. But that's what kale turns into when you let it flower. It's those side things after it gets the yellow flowers. The strazzberry little area, this is supposed to be all strazzberries. It's doing great. Strazzberries are just a version of strawberries that grow. They're meant for containers. They grow really fast, and they what they do is they spread and they cover the ground. They're awesome. They have a sweet berry. They're very hardy. The first thing up in the spring. The last thing well, they don't actually die. They just stay alive under the snow. There's just a green leaves. I mean, these leaves, see how they're dark green like that? They went all winter. Those are the old school ones when you see the dark leaves. The more lighter green stuff I've planted, transplanted, or have come up this year. So anyway, that's about enough of that. Let's just go back into this area. Check out. So yeah, would transplant this tonight. And I think the corn ain't doing too good. Gotta make some more of these log planters that I make. If you haven't seen my videos about my invention with forced induction combustion and wood combustion in a different way, you can check those out sometime. I guess I'll just conclude the video by showing the other strazzberries in my little container garden that I got going on. Alright. Here's my little container garden experiment. So, runs out the gutter. That goes down and into the soil. Haven't had any rain for 3 weeks, so that hasn't done anything, but plants are doing fantastic. I just water it regularly. This sunflower did some weird stuff. Kind of threw a bunch of little flowers out the main one. Find that odd. But then I got asparagus is growing a shoot. A little asparagus hiding down in there. A couple plants. There's popped peppers, the basil, more peppers, and then snow peas. And they got all kinds of little snow peas hanging off of there, about ready. So that's the container garden. Step over here. My green yard. Part of that is my green grass. It's from that. Those little white flowers. That's called Dutch clover. It keeps your yard drought resistant. It's a weed, obviously. I just don't use any chemicals. So this was here when I moved in. It's been here for 12 years. And I like it. I actually like how it looks. There's the strazzberies to put in. They're doing just fine. Covered that whole, filled that area. Started with just like 4 plants. And that area is full. There's my blueberry bush. Popping them little blueberries. That's been growing. Blueberries seem to like acidic soil. This bush is kind of like provides the perfect conditions, it would seem, because that plant's 6 years old now. Come over here. More strazzberry ground cover. And it's nice because you can just walk through this. No, I don't really harvest this fruit because people sometimes stop and pee right here. That's more for the birds and the animals and just ground cover. But yeah, just showing you how great of a plant it is. Anyway, until next time, glad you could join me. If you like this kind of stuff, or if you have any questions, just leave me a comment. I appreciate that. I always answer every comment, so thanks. Have a great day.